Hey, welcome to the Memorizing Pharmacology podcast, where we go over prefixes, suffixes, and side effects for pharmacy and nursing pharmacology by body system. And what we're going to go through now is a continuation of actually episode 2, which was antacid mnemonics in pharmacology. What we're going to do is go over a histamine 2 receptor blockers mnemonic from the self-paced pharmacology course. Now, we'll switch over to the actual narrator, who's a professional voice actor. But what I wanted to do was make sure I'm clear about ranitidine. Ranitidine, which was Zantac, is off the market. But when a patient asks about it, you still kind of have to know it. So it's like, do you leave it in? Do you take it out? So it's still in this video. But what I want to do is make clear that ranitidine is off the market. What they have done is change the active ingredient of Zantac to famotidine, which is brand Pepcid. The recognition of Zantac was so great that they just couldn't just take it off. So Zantac is now famotidine, an H2 blocker with fewer side effects than something like cimetidine. So anyway, this is from the self-paced pharmacology course, which there's always a link in the show notes if you want to check that out. But what we're going to do is we're going to go through these each week, system by system. But if you're impatient, just want to start getting into the videos right away, get a lot of videos done, they are in the course. We've got GI up now, and we'll have the others up soon.
Question number 2. Name 4 histamine 2 receptor blockers, their class suffix, 2 specific concerns about cimetidine, 1 about cimetidine and famotidine, and a general concern for the drug class itself. Number 2. Histamine 2 receptor antagonists, H2RAs. We'll use the mnemonic California H2. C. Cimetidine, brand name Tagamet, suffix tidine. A. Androgenic effect gynecomastia with cimetidine. L. Liver enzymes interaction, CYP450 with cimetidine. I. Increases QTC with other QTC drugs, famotidine and cimetidine. F. Famotidine, brand name Pepcid. R. Ranitidine, brand name Zantac. N. Nizatidine, brand name Axid. And A. Adjust for renal disease. Quick summary. We remember the H2 blockers end in tidine, T-I-D-I-N-E. Think of a dining room table where people are going to dine, T-O-D-I-N-E, because after they've dined, that's when acidic problems like reflux appear. How are H2 blockers different than antacids? They reduce stomach acid like antacids, but for much longer. I used the mnemonic California to hold the 4 histamine 2 receptor antagonists, because Cali means hot, and forn means oven. That's how someone with heartburn feels. I related the state of California to H2 because former California Governor Schwarzenegger had a hydrogen-fueled Hummer H2 SUV, and hydrogen is a big part of acidity. Imagine hearing Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice saying, "California, H2." C. Cimetidine. We don't often see in clinical practice because it has cytochrome P450 interactions, condensed as CYP450 and pronounced sip, like sip a drink. Cimetidine's brand Tagamet is an antagonist. The TA in antagonist will help you remember. A. Androgenic effect like gynecomastia is a condition of enlarged male breast tissue that could happen with cimetidine. This rare side effect is a board exam favorite. L. Liver. CYP450 interactions are an issue with inhibiting enzymes. If you impede liver enzymes, then those enzymes can't process other drugs, raising the other drugs' levels in the body. I. Increases QTC with other QTC drugs, a concern with famotidine and cimetidine. You can get life-threatening ventricular arrhythmias called torsades de pointe if the drug interaction prolongs the QT interval, resulting in sudden cardiac death. F. Famotidines brand Pepcid contains pep from peptic and pepsin that relates to digestion, and cid from acid. A student mentioned Pepsi, the soda, has a very acidic 2.4 pH. She said it always gave her heartburn, so that's how she remembered Pepcid. Also in soda pop, the POP and Pepcid's PEP are very similar. O. R. Ranitidine's tidine, Tidine, looks like Tidine, the time patients might experience gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. Zantac looks like a 2 with antac after it, so it's an H2 blocker, which works as an antagonist to acid. The ant in antagonist and the AC in acid will help you to remember. Zantac. N. Nizatidines, brand Axid, replaces acid's C with an X. Nizatidine rounds out the histamine 2 receptor antagonists. We can use H2 blockers like these, or the proton pump inhibitors that appear next for breakthrough nighttime acid. I. And finally, A. Adjust for renal disease with this group. Before we go on to our next therapeutic step, moving on to proton pump inhibitor, PPI, let's take a minute to add a note about side effects and connecting more drugs to them.
All right, so let's go into the course, and we'll just do a couple questions. First one is, which of the histamine 2 receptor antagonists, H2RAs, increases QTC with other QTC increasing medications? Is it nizatidine and cimetidine, famotidine and cimetidine, nizatidine and famotidine, or ranitidine and famotidine? Okay, and so just take a second to think about it. All right, so yeah, if you got famotidine and cimetidine, you got it right, and that was the I of our mnemonic. Increase QTC with other QTC, famotidine and cimetidine. Okay, so we'll click on that one, we'll check it, we'll get our correct, and then continue to the next question. All right, which histamine 2 receptor antagonist has an androgenic effect that causes gynecomastia? Is it famotidine, ranitidine, nizatidine, or cimetidine? Okay. All right, and go back again, and we see that the androgenic effect, gynecomastia, is with cimetidine. Again, in general, cimetidine is going to be the least preferred of the medications because of its side effects, but that's kind of one of those pearls you take away. So again, this is the residency.teachable.com course. Just a couple questions after, but we'll do this every week, every Tuesday in the email if you want to get on that list. And I've got 140 of these, so plenty of mnemonics to come. So hopefully you guys will take the time to write a quick review. Just say, you know, this is helpful to you, or email me at tonythepharmacist@gmail.com if you've got questions.